She flinched before the hand even touched her fur. Not after. Before. Like her body already knew what was coming, even when nothing bad ever came. That was the first thing I noticed about her. Not her color, not her size, not even those enormous eyes that seemed too big for her tiny face. It was the flinch. A small orange kitten, barely 8 weeks old, curled against my arm like she was trying to disappear into the fabric of my sleeve. And every single time my fingers moved near her, she braced, shoulders tight, eyes wide, waiting for something that never came from me, but had clearly come from somewhere before. We didn't know her story. Not really. She'd been found behind an apartment complex, soaked from rain, alone, with no mother in sight and no siblings nearby. Someone heard a cry too small to be real and followed it into a gap between two dumpsters. By the time she reached us, she weighed less than a bag of sugar and trusted absolutely nothing. The vet who checked her over that first afternoon said kittens separated too early from their mothers sometimes carry more than just hunger with them. They carry an alertness that never fully switches off, a body braced for the next bad thing, even in a room where nothing bad ever exists anymore. She was healthy, technically, underweight, a little dehydrated, but stable. What wasn't fine was everything underneath that. The vet used a word I hadn't expected: hypervigilant. A kitten who hadn't even opened her eyes to the world for very long, already scanning every room for danger. The first night, she didn't sleep in the bed we made for her. She wedged herself into the corner of a closet, behind a shoebox, as far from us as 4 walls would allow. I remember sitting on the floor outside that closet at 2 in the morning, just talking quietly, not reaching for her, just letting her hear a voice that wasn't going to hurt her. She didn't come out, not that night. But here's the thing about tiny animals who've learned the world isn't safe. They don't trust words. They don't trust promises. They only trust patterns, repeated so many times that fear finally runs out of reasons to stay. So that's what we gave her: patterns. Every morning, the same soft voice before the food bowl touched the floor. Every evening, the same slow hand, palm up, resting still, never reaching, just waiting to see if she'd come to it instead. Sometimes she'd sniff the air and retreat. Sometimes she'd take 1 step forward and then bolt like the floor had turned to fire beneath her. Little did we know, this was only the beginning of something we didn't understand yet. By the second week, something started to shift, though barely enough to notice unless you were watching closely. She stopped hiding behind the shoebox and started sleeping near the closet door instead. Progress measured in inches. Then one evening, while I sat reading with my hand resting open on the couch cushion, she walked toward it, slowly. 1 paw, then a pause, another paw, then a longer pause. And then she touched it. Just her nose, just for a second. Just enough to confirm that the hand wouldn't turn into something that hurt her. Then she pulled back fast, retreating 3 full feet in under a second, watching me from a safe distance like she expected consequences. None came. I see you're still here, and I have a feeling you already know where this story's going. But stick with me, because what happened next is the reason I'm telling you this at all. If stories like hers matter to you, this is exactly the kind of thing this channel exists for. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. It genuinely helps more than you'd think. Week 3 brought the flinch back, worse than before. A door slammed somewhere in the building, and she vanished for 6 hours. We found her eventually, pressed into the narrowest gap behind the refrigerator, trembling so hard the whole appliance seemed to hum with it. That night, I understood something I hadn't fully accepted yet. Healing isn't a straight line. It loops back on itself. It takes 2 steps forward and disappears for 6 hours behind a refrigerator, and you have to be steady enough to still be there when it comes back out. I sat on the kitchen floor that night, close enough to the refrigerator that she could see me, far enough that she never had to feel cornered. I didn't try to pull her out. I didn't call her name over and over the way I wanted to. I just stayed, quiet, present, letting the minutes stretch into an hour, then 2, then 3. Something told me that if I left now, the lesson she'd learn wasn't safety. It was that people leave when it gets hard. So I stayed until my legs went numb against the tile, until finally, impossibly, a small orange face appeared from the shadows, blinking into the kitchen light. So we stayed steady. No punishment for hiding, no forcing her into arms that wanted to comfort her but hadn't earned the right yet. Just the same quiet patterns over and over until patterns became something closer to proof. And then, on a Tuesday evening in early spring, everything changed at once. I was sitting on the floor, exactly where I always sat, hand open, exactly the way it always rested, and instead of one cautious paw and a retreat, she walked straight into my palm and stayed there. She pressed her small head into my hand and didn't pull away. She let out a breath, long and slow, like she'd been holding it since the day behind the dumpster, and finally had somewhere safe to put it down. I didn't move, I barely breathed. I just let her stay. That was the night the flinching stopped for good. From that moment forward, she followed the same hand that used to make her flee. She'd climb into laps uninvited. She'd fall asleep pressed against a shoulder during quiet evenings, completely unguarded, completely unafraid. The kitten, who once braced for pain before it arrived, now leaned into touch like it was the safest place in the world. A friend who fosters rescue animals told me later that what we witnessed has a name, trauma response extinction, she called it, a slow unlearning that happens only when fear is met with the exact same gentle nothing again and again until the nervous system finally believes the coast is clear. It isn't fast, it isn't dramatic, it's quiet, repetitive, almost boring work, and it's the only thing that actually works. She's nearly a year old now, long past the fragile stage, fully grown into a confident, affectionate cat who greets every visitor by walking straight up and demanding to be touched. Nobody who meets her today would guess she once flinched at an open palm. Nobody would guess she spent her first days believing every hand carried something painful behind it. But I know. I remember the closet, the shoebox, the refrigerator gap, the 6 trembling hours. I remember every night I sat on a cold floor just talking to a corner that wouldn't answer back. And I think about how close we came to never understanding what she was actually asking for. She wasn't asking to be left alone. She was asking to be proven wrong over and over until she finally believed it. If you're thinking about bringing home an animal who's been hurt before, remember this. They don't come to you already healed. Sometimes the bravest thing they do isn't running towards you, it's staying still long enough to let you try. Some love doesn't arrive all at once. Sometimes it walks towards an open hand for the very first time after weeks of believing it never would, and finally, quietly, decides to stay. So here's what I want to know. Do you think animals who've been hurt love harder once they finally trust again? Or do you think fear like that never really leaves them completely? Tell me what you think in the comments.